Welcome back to HL Restorations Impacting Midwest Industries. Today we have in the studio Mike Lanning with U.S. Asset Services. Thanks for joining me, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
Now, Mike, you are the Senior Managing Principal for U.S. Asset Services.
That's correct.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit about, because, I follow you on LinkedIn and Facebook and things like that, and I hear a lot about you throughout the other commercial property managers about what you've done. And thumbs up to you. I mean, you've had a wonderful career, it looks like.
Thank you.
So
I'm hoping it goes on a little bit longer.
I'm sure it will. But tell me a little bit about your commercial real estate, background.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I've been doing this now for 35 years, which is a long time, I guess you could tell from my gray hair. But I started in this business really by chance versus by choice. After finishing at the University of Nebraska, and I was born and raised in Omaha, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as a career. And so a friend of my father's owned a commercial real estate company in Kansas City and said, hey, we've got an assistant property manager position available here in Kansas City. I'd like you to come down and talk to our director of property management and see if it might be a good fit for you. So I did, and got offered the job and worked there for about 2.5 years. And then the person that I worked for, she went on to be the director of property management at CBRE, and so she hired me over there. And then that was, a long career at CBRE where I worked for them for 25 years in various local, regional, and national roles. And then I had an opportunity and got recruited over by Cushman & Wakefield, and I was there for 5 years, and then had a chance to launch my own company just over 2 years ago. So we celebrated our 2-year anniversary back in May, and
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We have a great company. We're very excited about what we do.
Well, tell us, since you brought that, tell us a little bit about U.S. Asset Services, your new company. I know a lot of people have certain niches. What is U.S. Asset Services niche, and how are they impacting Midwest Industries? Now, also tell us, are you throughout the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when we started this company, one of our large clients is a developer of government leased facilities around the country, and so specifically what they've been doing over the last few years is developing Veterans Administration clinics throughout the country. And so we have developed a niche, and about 80% of our portfolio are government leased properties. And we're focused on this client, but we've expanded our business, and we've got multiple owners now that own these government leased facilities all over the country. So we're managing properties right now in 12 states, about a $700 million portfolio total. In fact, that client that I referenced, they are in the process right now of building 9 new Veterans Administration clinics, about another $700 million in asset value. So once those properties get fully completed, then they come into our portfolio, and then we provide property management services to those buildings.
Oh, okay, that's great. We've not had anyone on the commercial property management or real estate side that have that type of a niche. So with that being said, what's different with that niche when it comes to this pandemic that we're going through with COVID-19? How are you approaching things with your clients?
Yeah, so these are, whether these are higher end office buildings or higher end medical office buildings, which these Veterans Administration clinics are, when you're dealing with different agencies, they've had different protocols over the last 4 months. These Veterans Administration clinics, it's been business as usual, and they serve the veterans for their healthcare needs. And so they've been coming in frequently. So we've got teams that are on site at these different facilities. And then we have other government agency buildings where, either some of their employees have been furloughed during this downtime, and some have been working from home. So it's really been a mix, and so we're just, we're wondering what this is going to look like going forward in the future. But it's just interesting to see the buildings that we're managing on a daily basis that still have population that are coming in, versus these buildings that are sitting very not well occupied right now.
Right. Now, do you see a trend in the good of people coming back to work?
Some of these government agencies that we're working with, they've developed a plan right now as they come back. Some are coming back in the next 30 days. Some are staging their comeback. So it could be, there's one agency that we work with. They're not going to be back into their facility until January 1 of 21. So I would say over the next 6 months, we're going to see these staged returns to their properties that they occupied.
Right. Now, tell me a little bit, because like I said, I call on a lot of people in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
or in this typical, or the commercial real estate industry.
Sure.
And again, nothing but good things they say about you. But tell me a little bit about the IRAM, the Institute of Real Estate Management. Tell us a little bit about that association, how you got involved in that.
Yeah. So I really found IRAM, since I decided to make a career in commercial real estate, and so I was on the property management side, and so I pursued a professional designation through IRAM, which is called the Certified Property Manager, CPM designation. So it's a series of classes. It's almost like getting your MBA in property management. So they started with them, and after I got my CPM designation in the late 90s, then I was introduced to the chapter here in Kansas City. They invited me to join on their board of directors. So I worked my way up and was the president of the local chapter in 2002. And then I had an opportunity to move up and be a regional vice president for that organization in the early 90s after I was president here. And then I was asked to move up in various national roles as an executive committee member, as a senior vice president, and then as an officer. And eventually that led to me being the international president in 2017.
Yeah, and that's the organization, the association. I know I've been with HL Restoration for a year now, and we go to the luncheons. We're very
Sure.
involved with the association. I think it's a great association. You guys do some great things.
Yeah, we've educated the industry. We want to be relevant to everything that is in the property management industry and the commercial real estate industry. So it's fun to network with people here locally, and also when we get together for national conferences. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened since our national conference has been postponed for this year. But IRAM has 80 chapters throughout the U.S. They've got chapters in 14 different countries. So in 2017, it was just a phenomenal experience to be able to travel to a lot of those chapters, both in the U.S. and outside of the U.S. So it'll be a year that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Well, I love the association. I plan on being part of it for years
good.
coming. So great. I'm going to turn a little bit. I'm going to ask you, because I'm a big sports fanatic,
Okay.
Mike, and I know you come from Omaha, Nebraska, and I probably know the answer to this when it comes to football. But who's your favorite college football team?
That would have to be the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So
All right.
and unfortunately, they have not fared very well over the last few years, but winning the national championship 3 times in the 90s was exciting, and 2 times in the 70s. So we're hoping that one of these days we get
circle back around.
Yeah.
Now I'll let you get by with that answer as long as the next answer is what I'm hoping is.
Okay.
Who's your favorite NFL football team?
Well, I think you've got a Chiefs flag right up there.
That a boy.
And the world champion Kansas City Chiefs are my hometown team.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, I'm so excited about. Hopefully, like we talked earlier,
Yes.
hopefully that the football season kicks off this year.
Yeah, I really hope we're going to have a season.
Yeah, and I think we have a really good chance of going back to back, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
But I have a question for you. When it comes to you and your wife, and you guys go out to eat, dinner and a movie, what's your favorite place to eat, and what's your favorite movie you ever watch?
Favorite place to eat. This is such a barbecue town, and I love barbecue. And with all the barbecue restaurants that are in this town, do you know how many barbecue restaurants there are in Kansas City?
That's a good question. No, there's a lot. I'm gonna go with 60.
Well, actually, the number that was recently published is 108.
Wow.
So I tell people from outside this city that there is no such thing as bad barbecue in Kansas City. There's just some that's better than others.
It's a good way of good way of saying it.
But my favorite really now is Q39. And it has been for a couple of years.
I knew I liked you, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I don't think their burn-ins. No other restaurant, no other barbecue restaurant in town can compare their burn-ins to Q39.
Yeah. See, I differ a little bit in that because I think the pulled pork is excellent at Q39, right?
Yep.
But then there's other places, like Famous Dave's. I love their pulled chicken.
Yeah.
And then burn ins, Jack Stack has some good burn ins.
Absolutely.
Me and my wife, we argue all the time about the different barbecues. But now that I know there's 108 of them, I may have to do a little checklist and take my wife out each weekend and we'll go to a different one, see if we can.
But I also, we have good steakhouses in town and we've got good Italian restaurants. And so, this city is full of good restaurants. So we like to go out and experience new restaurants.
Yeah. Well, what is your favorite movie of all time? And if you say my favorite, I'm going to say we're going to have to start hanging out because you've just nailed quite a few that I have common in.
I don't know. I'm a golfer and I like crazy humor and I think Caddyshack has to be my favorite movie ever.
Excellent.
Every couple of years I need a Caddyshack fix, but I think that is a very, very funny movie.
Yeah. And you know what?
Was that yours? Or
No, I do like Caddyshack, but I was going to say, if you said Gladiator or something like that, I was like, me and Mike's going to have to start hanging out, right?
I like that movie also.
But no, when you mentioned golf, it's funny, Mike, that you said that because I think I've played more golf this year than I have my entire life just because of this COVID-19 hit.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, and everybody wants to be social distancing. They can do it on the golf course, so they don't want to do happy hour lunch, but they'll go out and play some golf. So I've actually gotten a little bit better. I stink at golf still. I mean, I'm in my low 90s now, but
that's respectable.
Well, it wasn't when I first started. I was about 115, 118.
Yeah. No, it's something that I really enjoy doing, and it seems like I've played a fair amount of golf over the last 4 months also. And when everybody was quarantined, when they first opened up the golf courses, that was something that you could do. You could social distance. You were out on the course outside, and so anyway, it's something that
Are you a competitive person?
Yes, I am a competitive person.
I'm not going to be able to golf with you for a while, Mike. Give me a couple years, and I want to ask you to go play golf.
No, I can play with the best of them, and I can play with the not so best of them. So I enjoy it.
All right. So here's some funny questions for you. What is the worst smell you have ever smelled?
The worst smell that I've ever smelled. From time to time, we are up on roofs, and they're getting new roofs put on, and could be a hot day. And thank God I'm not a roofer because that sure does not look like much fun, but it's a necessity.
Yeah.
I think that hot tar smell on a hot day, that smell is not very pleasant. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. What would be the worst buy one get one free sale of all time?
The worst would probably be from a pet store. Either buy one mouse and get one mouse free, or buy one snake and get one snake free. Because
forget either one of those.
That's something.
Nope.
I'm not a fan of snakes, and I'm not a fan of mice.
Yeah, my wife and I have seen more snakes this year in our backyard than we've ever seen. I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't mind them. They don't really scare me that much if I know where they're at. But it's for the ones that you stumble up on and they just take off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I jump right on my shoes.
I'm not a fan of snakes. I try to avoid them, and hopefully they try to avoid me.
Yeah. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
A hot dog, I think a hot dog is probably. I've never been asked that question before, but I think a hot dog probably is a meal.
Yeah.
And I love those Costco all beef hot dogs. And if you didn't put it on a bun and you put it on bread. Yeah, I think it could be classified as a sandwich.
Yep. I'm eating a lot of hot dogs right now. I've got a 5-year-old daughter. So
I see. Oh, yeah.
Of course, you can understand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What is something that is popular now, but in 5 years, everyone will look back on and be embarrassed by?
The kids are all into this TikTok app. And
kids, you haven't dove into that yet?
My kids have brought me in a little bit onto that, but if I pulled out my phone, you would not see TikTok as one of my apps. But I think that's something that people will look back in 5 years and say, what were we thinking? What were we doing? So,
and what's the other app? The one that you can do all the little bunny faces and the dog faces and all that. I don't really get too far into the.
you know, I've seen it, but I can't tell you what it is either.
That's another one that people look back for. What
yeah.
was I thinking? Why did I do that?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That would definitely be one.
Well, folks, thank you, Mike, for coming in. I'm going to go ahead and put your information up on the screen if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put your website and then your contact information so if anybody wants to reach out to you, ask any questions. But again, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for the invitation.
You bet.